Hitbox KO. Hello? That's better. Hello everybody, avid listeners across the world, across the solar system of the Hitbox podcast. Today we are joined by a very special guest, Kieran. And he's come to talk to us about his childhood, but only the games. Hello, Kieran.
Hello.
So what have you brought along? What have we brought along with you? Hitbox is all about talking about what you used to play as a child, and then later on we're going to talk about your best games, the top five, your top 5 best games. In fact, I'm going to do a very quick, at the beginning of the podcast. I'm going to quickly explain the new system that I've done. In previous podcasts, we've basically been trying to make a top 10, but, and I should have seen this coming, every single person has chosen a different game. All 5 of their games have been completely unique every single time so far. And so
have you had any where they've been two the same, like any 2 top games?
We have had not a single repeat at all. So we had a situation where first place was joint 6 different games, etc. So for the time being, while this podcast is still young, there's going to be, brace yourself, because you've heard this word a lot recently. If you listeners are in the UK, we've introduced a tier system, and different games, depending on how many points they get, will be put into a different tier of how good they are. That's what we're going to go with for now on. And we'll get back to that at the end of the podcast. For now, Kieran, talk to me about your childhood games.
So I thought we'd go back to the very first game that I can remember playing. Mickey Mouse's Haunted House on PlayStation 1.
Fantastic start. Tell me about that game.
I can't really remember a lot except from the name of it. And you were Mickey Mouse in a haunted house. So it was like a, from what I remember, it's like a platform game. I'm going to just Google. I can see you're Googling, so I'll Google as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can't actually see. I don't think this is a game.
It is a game.
It's not called Mickey Mouse's Haunted House. That doesn't exist.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was called that. There is a game. What is it called?
There's Mickey Mouse. There's Mickey's Wild Adventure.
No, I remember it's specifically a spooky game.
Oh yeah, this looks pretty spooky because it's got like skeletons and ghosts in it.
Yeah, what was it called?
Mickey's Wild Adventure.
Wild.
He looks really angry in the cover art for this.
Weird. I remember, Wild Adventures, PS1. That is it. That picture popping up on there. Yeah, it was like a platform game, like 2D platform. But yeah, you'd go through like Steamboat Willie's sort of like world. It was pretty it's just like I have memories of it, but I can't remember any because I was so young. I can't remember anything specific.
Is the whole game just take place in Steamboat Willie?
Not just Steamboat Willie. There's like a castle and stuff. I remember it was like a spooky game, but you're just going through. Yeah, it's like almost like a Mario sort of like 2D platform game.
It looks kind of way too spooky. There's like chemical vials and ghosts, and like I said, the cover art. Mickey looks really mad. He looks really upset.
He looks like a mouse on a mission.
He does. And it's kind of bad looking, like the box art. The game looks okay.
Like it looks like a bootleg game, doesn't it? It
does.
I mean, those eyebrows are menacing.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey doesn't even have eyebrows, but they went and gave him some sort of
brow.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you can't remember much of the game, you can't remember anything.
No, I remember that game as being like the first sort of game I played.
Okay.
Um,
Tell me your next game. Tell me one that you remember more about.
Tekken 3.
Oh, Tekken 3. Here we go.
What a belter of a game. I remember like just playing that with my dad when I was younger. I remember one weekend he was like, "Yeah, I've completed the game in a day before." I was like, "No way have you completed a game in a day before." And he sat down on the Saturday. I just sat there watching him like beat all the bosses, going through it. I was like, "You're a god."
I've never played Tekken 3. I've only actually played one Tekken game, and it was Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the Wii U, uh, bizarrely. But I know
No,
I'm
yeah,
aware of Tekken 3.
it was yeah. That's the one that I played a lot. And or I say recently, a couple of years ago, I re-brought the game on PlayStation 1 because I've still got my
Nice.
PS2, and I went round my mate's house like for a couple of weekends, and we just like played through it like because you basically have to fight all the like champions over and over again just to keep unlocking new people, and we
Yep.
just unlocked everyone on it. And
I was
like
going to
just
ask you about
sweating it
that.
out.
So, the characters, can you explain to me why they're so weird?
I have no idea. I never really delved too much into the lore of it. I just remember I was like a karate kid sort of boy, so I used to play as Law all the time because he was like that Bruce Lee character,
Yeah.
and yeah, doing those backflip kicks on people.
I always, with Tekken, I always looked at it and thought it's a bit weird. I mean, I get it; it's not that weird. Most of the characters are
Yeah,
human, but then you have literal bear like Kuma the bear.
yeah,
You have
King.
some sort of wooden
Oh yeah, there's
character,
wood.
Makujin.
Yeah,
Ogre the ogre, and then
yeah,
Panda, who is just called Panda, like is a panda. Like, well,
yeah, yeah. I don't get it. Um, yeah, I didn't play Street Fighter or anything, so this was my fighting game, and it just like to play it again. Like when I played it again, it was just kind of nostalgic. It was a really like big game when I was a kid. Like to me, I don't know how big it was when it came out, but I
I
played that,
wasn't.
and then I remember when the PlayStation 2 came out, and I got Tekken Tag Tournament, and I was like, "What's this swapping characters about? Like, why do I need to change halfway through? Just give me one
See,
character."
I quite, I prefer, I do prefer it when fighting games, let you switch in like that. It does add a lot to it. Like,
Yeah,
um, have you ever played Marvel vs. Capcom?
um, I think I might have played it at the roller skating place in Colchester.
Oh, nice.
They had like the joystick and button one there.
That's cool. Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom was crazy because you you picked a team of three that you tagged along. You know, you draw them out and stuff. But then
Yeah.
there were times when you could do like all three of the characters at the same time could do their ultimate move. Like, so the whole screen
Oh
would just
yeah.
be full of just stuff going on. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question. What was like the
Okay.
first game you remember playing?
The first game that I remember playing would have been Crash Bandicoot 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first game that I actually remember playing. Um, Crash Bandicoot 1, Crash Bandicoot 2, and then a whole load of like licensed games on the Game Boy Color. Like we're talking Scooby Doo. Let's see what it was called. Scooby Doo Game Boy Color. I, that was a interesting one. Scooby Doo Classic Creep Capers. It was called. Um, and then I had. Do you remember the movie Dinosaur?
Yes.
I
I
had
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
had
remember that.
Dinosaur on Game Boy Color. Those are kind of like the main ones one of those games would have been my first one. So yeah, a bit of a pot.
Yeah, that's pretty out there.
You've got to
Go,
have a look at the artwork of Dinosaur. It's like the worst looking game you've. I mean, not that you've ever seen. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad.
yeah,
Yeah, it's really funny.
let's have a look. Dinosaur, yeah.
Just type in Dinosaur Game Boy Color. It's just it's just janky looking. It's so funny. It's so low budget.
Oh, I remember that Dinosaur now.
And like the
Yeah.
story's told through like a single sentence. It's really funny. It's like, and
Oh,
then
is
the
it?
dinosaurs moved.
Yeah. If we're gonna carry on talking about the Game Boy Color for a second, my next game is Wolverine Rage, X-Men Wolverine's Rage for the Game Boy Color. And I remember that had no backlighting or anything in it, that game, but I remember going on holiday to Spain to see like my grandparents and just sort of like waking up in the morning before anyone else was up and like just playing that, but you like couldn't play it through the night because there was no backlighting on it, so you'd have to turn the light on. But like just waking up in the morning, everyone's asleep, whacking that bad boy on, playing that game. That was like a platform,
Wow, yeah.
like 2D platform game, going around, jumping on barrels, slicing people. That was
I'm looking at it now. I always forget about the Leco backlight. It's just so dreadful. Like you weren't even able to play games in like ordinary lighting. Like it was still quite hard to
it was
see, really.
difficult, yeah. I remember like when I had my DS, you would play games and you would sacrifice your battery life to be able to see if it was a sunny day
Yeah,
because you could turn the brightness up and yeah,
yeah.
but then you couldn't play as long. So that was another thing when I was on holiday and I wanted to save my battery. I would put a towel over my head so that I could turn the brightness down and my battery would last longer.
That's exactly what I did. The Game Boy Advance SP had a backlight, and there was actually a dedicated button which you press it and it turns the backlight off.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, you'd be like, if you've got a long travel, you just whack off the light, find your nearest towel. It's exactly what I used to do as well with a towel. It's really funny.
yeah, that yeah. Because I never had a Game Boy Advance. I had the Game Boy Color, and then I got a DS.
Right, yeah.
I never had the Advance, the flip phone one.
Well, the original Advance was actually not a flip. It was and it didn't have a backlight either. But the SP added the backlight and it has that kind of
Yeah,
that hinge on it. Um, yeah, I mean, I soon when the DS came out, the DS was like all the rage for every kid, wasn't it? Like everyone
yeah.
had a DS.
I think
Everyone.
I think you spoke about this on another episode, but you would like someone if you were going on a school trip and one person had to have Mario Kart and you could link up and everyone could play it, but only one person had to have it.
Yep.
And you'd just be on the bus and you'd be like, if you didn't get in, you'd be waiting to just like join, like waiting for someone's connection just to drop out. You'd be like, join, join, join.
Yeah, I know.
Get into it.
And then just used to get a little bit brutal because
Yeah.
it's just a first come first serve. Like you don't care. You just want to play Mario Kart. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if your mate hasn't played for the last few games. Like you're playing it.
Well, I'm connected and you're not, so it looks
Yep.
like I'm playing.
Yep.
Yeah. Kids are savage, aren't they?
Yeah, kids are awful. Kids are terrible. Do
Yeah.
you have any more Game Boy Color games before we move on to DS and stuff?
Game. Not that I remember. I remember just Wolverine.
So you're
X-Men
saying,
Wolverine's Rage is the game that it's like stands out in my mind with
yeah,
the Game Boy.
You had a Game Boy Color. It was actually just X-Men Wolverine's Rage machine. Really,
I don't
that
know
was
if
its
I actually owned
destiny.
any other games for it. If I did, I
Yeah,
can't remember them.
I owned like 3 Game Boy Color games.
Yeah. See, I was never into Pokemon or anything, so those, yeah,
I
I
would have
just
been
sort
into it, but my parents didn't buy. They bought me like movie tie-in games. They didn't actually know anything about video games, so they were like, oh, our son likes Toy Story. We'll get him the Toy Story game on Game Boy Color. And it's like, oh, so bad. But I used to play it,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Oh, if we're going on onto the DS next, which is
Hmm.
a seems fitting for the next step. Um, do you remember? Have you heard of a film called Transformers?
Yeah, I think it's robots, but they're in disguise.
Yes. Do you remember the Nintendo DS Transformer game
I
when it came
guarantee
out?
you there are more than one.
But
So
no, when the film came out, there was two games that came out. There was the Autobots one,
I
and there
remember
was the
that.
Decepticons one. I had the
Wow.
Decepticon one because I remember someone having the Autobot one and being like, "Oh, I can't hit any other cars because then I do bad in the game because I'm meant to be a good robot." And I was like, "I can't do that. I can't control a car very well on a DS. This game will be impossible."
Yeah, that sounds. That just sound. I remember that now. I completely forgot. That's such a throwback.
There was two, wasn't there? There was the Autobots and the Decepticons.
I remember. Yeah, I remember thinking, why would you buy the Autobot one? Like, surely everyone
Yeah,
wants to be the
surely everyone wants
Decepticons.
to be the bad guys blowing everything up.
Definitely. How funny.
Everyone wants to be good unless you're in a video game.
I want to see like what people thought of this. Like,
Transformers.
I want to see like, did people go, yeah, don't get the Autobots one, it's trash. So we got 66.8 out of 10 for the Decepticons one on IGN. Let's have a look at the Autobot score. They didn't. Oh, they get the same score. Oh, come on, that's a cop out.
That is a cop out. Are they classing it as the same game?
It does look like they class it as the same game.
I'm just looking at these graphics and they're so janky, aren't they?
They are. I mean, I do think that
It
the
is an old game.
DS was kind of like it's like that. All the consoles had it. It was like the awkward PlayStation One stage for handhelds because,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think Game Boy Advance games are really good looking. But obviously they're 2D. And the jump to 3D on the DS,
It
it's
wasn't
like kind
smooth.
of not amazing looking.
Yeah. But I remember the Decepticon. I played that game quite a lot on my DS.
You know, the DS
That
was supposed to be it wasn't actually supposed to be a huge thing. It was meant to be like a kind of side spin-off handheld. It was never meant to be like a
that's
major
weird.
thing.
Think of it like that because it's gone from like the DS, then they had the 3DS, then they done like the Wii U, but it was also kind of handheld.
The
Now
Wii U
you've got
was not a handheld. The Wii U
there
was
was I
definitely
swear
not a
there was a
handheld.
handheld controller to play it though,
I mean,
and
the
it had
controller
a
has a
screen on
screen.
it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. But now they've got the Switch, which is like it can either be handheld or a full on console for your TV.
Yeah, I mean yeah, I can see what they were. The Wii U's disaster, but that's a whole other thing.
I
I
never
haven't
had
met many
one.
people who actually have a Wii U. Um, I had a Wii U. It was not the best purchase I've ever made.
Yeah, I think I've still got my Nintendo Wii somewhere.
I sold my Wii uh, because the Wii U is also a Wii. You can play Wii games on it.
Yeah. But considering that, like the Wii, I think a lot of people had it because how ingrained is that Me theme tune
Oh yeah.
into everyone's head? The bum 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 bum
So
bum.
you had a Wii. What games
I
did you have
had
from a
it.
Wii?
We spoke about this last night, but I had Zelda.
Yes.
forget which one it was.
Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess. I had that. That was a good game.
That is a good game.
I can't. I played a lot of games, but I can't remember a lot of playing them.
The Twilight Princess was interesting because it was one of the first Wii games, and it wasn't made for the Wii. It was made for the GameCube.
Oh,
So
really?
they kind of like shoved in Wii remote like wiggling stuff.
Yeah, because I think I had. Because I had like this, they done all those attachments for your
Yeah.
remotes on the Wii. I think I had the gun, but it also acted like the bow for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Because I got the gun because I had a James Bond game on it.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember which one, but
Was
I
that
remember
GoldenEye?
having that. No, let's have a look. Oh, it might have been GoldenEye. Or
They remade it on the Wii.
it might have been that then. But I remember having a James Bond game on there and playing it.
Yeah.
And I had the. Oh wait, no, it was Quantum of Solace. I think
All right.
it was that game. Yeah, the covers just popped up and I recognise it. Yeah, I had Quantum of Solace, and I had the remote for it, and I played it like that. But that's it's weird how kids have a lot of movie tie-in games, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially at our age, there's a lot of like. I don't know whether back when we were younger, they weren't really trying to make kids games, and they were just like, "Oh, we'll just make movie tie-in games," rather than like what they've got now.
There were kid games, but I think the reason why is because games now can be so much more than they used to be. And I think a lot of companies probably saw video games as like a kind of a way of making like money on the side. And you could whack out a really terrible, like
Yeah, they're
Incredibles
never
game,
good, are they?
but people will buy it because it's like, oh, it's like a fun, silly little thing for my kid. But now you can't get away with that because games are too good for some horrible movie tie-in to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you just can't do it, can you?
Do you remember that though? With everything, every movie that came out, there was a video game tie-in. Every movie,
like all, like Pixar, like Disney, all of them.
yeah,
Had it,
DreamWorks.
didn't they? DreamWorks.
Not even just like animated either. Like it's like the King Kong game.
I had the King Kong game on PC when I was younger, like PC ROM.
I had it on PS2.
When you didn't download PC games, when you actually had to buy like a disc for it as well.
I haven't bought. I think I've bought like 4 PC games on disc. I think in my life.
Yeah, I used to sort of. I don't think I had really like one thing that I play games on, because I would play like PlayStation 1. I had my Game Boy. I would play on PC. My dad had a Sega. I know it's in America. It's called Genesis. Don't know what it's called in English.
Mega Drive.
Mega Drive. He had a Sega Mega Drive, and I had Sonic the Hedgehog on it.
Yeah.
But you'd have to plug it into the mains for it to actually work, because it had no like battery in it. And I just
So was that a handheld?
It was a handheld one. It was a handheld.
Oh, that's not a Mega Drive.
No, what is that then?
Well, there's a Sega Game Gear, which is a handheld, but it might not have been an actual Sega thing. It might have been like a different company making it.
Here it is. I think that's it. A Sega Game Gear.
Yeah, Game Gear. Yeah,
that's what it was. He had that, and I had Sonic the Hedgehog on it.
Yeah, Game Gears. When the Game Gear came out, it was really, really powerful, but it had no battery. It was like really, you'd run out immediately.
Yeah, like you had to plug it into the mains to play it. But we've still got this somewhere.
Game Gears are really cool.
I need to dig it. Here's a picture. I've just found a picture of it. with this antenna that plugs onto it, and I
Yep.
remember my dad saying, "Oh yeah, you could watch the TV on it."
Yeah, TV tuner. Yeah. We compare that. That was out as at the same time as the original Game Boy. Like, to be fair, that is so much better than a Game Boy. There's so much.
Yeah,
It was color for a start. You know,
yeah. It was so chunky though, isn't it?
really chunky. I can't prefer that though. The original Game Boy is really hard to hold.
Oh, is it? I've never played one, so
Well, it's the same shape as the Game Boy Color, just it's in black and
yeah.
white.
Oh, okay. So what's the original Game Boy is what I'm looking at, where it's that like rectangle. Is that the one you're on about?
Yeah, the original Game Boy is like a kind of greyish white slab.
Yeah. And the Game Boy Color. I thought the Game Boy Color was more like the yeah. I never had any problems with the Game Boy Color to hold
No, for little hands, it's fine,
for
I
my
guess.
little 5-year-old hands.
Yeah, but it is the same shape as the Game Boy, and it is just a slab. Like, can you imagine playing games on that now? Like that, if you look at a picture of the Game Boy, that is
Yeah,
not fun to look. That's not a fun thing to hold. It's kind of like it's fine for like a little bit, which I guess that's kind of the point. But
yeah.
yeah, do you have any like this is now beginning to like infringe on like your teenage years now, but
Oh, before we get there, I have one more game that I want to talk about, or two more games
yep,
actually. Oh, and three. I'll quickly list it off. Halo 1, I played that on PC when I was
nice,
younger.
nice.
Um, Second one, do you remember Rayman before the rabbits were about?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
when the games were good.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Rayman
I,
was sick.
I had Rayman on PC, and that was a good game. Like it was 3D. I was just like, what is this character with no arms or legs or neck, just floating about his arms, going like this? But yeah, that before the rabbits took over, I don't even think Rayman's in those games anymore.
No, he's not. He's not in it at all. Like,
Which
they,
they need to bring that back. They really need to change that to. I think they changed to the rabbits because it was a marketing thing. They could sell like figures and stuff of these different rabbits.
well, at the time, it was like mini game collections and party games
Yeah,
were all the rage with the Wii.
yeah. Oh.
Uh,
But do you remember like the party games on the PlayStation 2, like Buzz,
Buzz, yeah,
iToy?
yeah. Buzz and OSO, I had those. My
I
my
had
dad
those.
had an iToy. I remember going around his and having a good fun with that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Buzz. Buzz is like that's now Jackbox, isn't it? Really, like that's like
basically, yeah. And you don't even have to be in the same room.
no.
But Buzz was, yeah. I think Jackbox, if you're a teenager, it can be. See, Buzz seemed like it was a kid's game. Jackbox, we can play that,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can just get like obscene with it. Like if you get any drawing game on Jackbox, you know there's going to be at least one penis in that game.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm undoubtedly probably a penis in all of them.
I, th-
Actually,
I, th- I think Buzz had zero penis in it.
I don't think Buzz had any penis in it. No, I think you're right.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, one last game for the PC when I was younger was a game called Unreal Tournament. My dad just had this
Mm,
game. Do you know this game? Because whenever I spoke
yeah,
to people about it, they never know what I'm on about.
yeah. Unreal Tournament was pretty big when it came out.
Yeah, I played it on PC. It was just like a shoot 'em up, like PvP game from what I used to play of it.
Yeah, yeah. Unreal Tournament's like the one of the original games that was on the Unreal Engine, which is why it had that name.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a fun game. I remember playing. Um, I think I had. I'm just looking through Google Images. I think I had Unreal Tournament 2003, and yeah, I just played PvP,
mhm.
but like against a computer. and then you could go around, drive around in cars, just trying to like do capture the flag, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I done, and I just remember playing it for so long. But yeah, that's a good game. I've never spoken to anyone else that sort of played that or even knew what it was.
Yeah, I haven't played Unreal Tournament, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like a big game for me when I was younger. Well, I don't know how my dad let me play this though when I was like 5 or 6.
I mean, I played GTA Vice City when I was way too young, so.
Yeah, I was never allowed it, but I'd go around like my friend's house or like my older cousin's
Oh,
house and
I wasn't allowed it
play it.
either, but I'd go around
Yeah.
my dad's house
Ah.
and he'd let me play it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so you want to head into the teenage years now.
Yeah, give me some like Xbox 360, PS3 era.
Do you remember a game called Wheelman? Or have you heard of this?
Will man.
Wheelman. You'll recognize the
No.
character in it.
Um, man, you know what? Vin Diesel. I have
You played.
never. I've never seen this before in my life.
It was like a GTA game, but you were playing as Vin Diesel, but you were a getaway driver.
That's so
It was like
funny.
it was open world. You'd go around doing like getaway jobs, but you would also like have to shoot and stuff as well. They had like a 5-star police rating thing on it, like GTA. And I remember playing this around my mates. He had a PS3 and I had an Xbox 360. But I remember going around there playing this and then getting it. Like my mum and dad didn't really know what it was. So I was like, I want this game, and then they were just like, "All right, then it's not GTA." um, and yeah, you would like shoot up places, and then there was this maze in the middle of it, and you would go and hide in there with 5-star police on you, and just hide in this maze. Like you'd like go shoot them, sort of like head back in, heal a bit if you'd like taken some damage, and just do
This.
that.
I'm looking at reviews. It got terrible reviews.
I don't think as a kid I sort of just played it. It
No, you
probably
wouldn't know.
wasn't. Yeah, it was probably a dog shit game, but as a kid you just sort of play what you can get, don't
Yeah,
you?
of course, of course.
But yeah, that was one of them.
There's a Wheelman movie
Is there?
that came out in 2017. Can you
Is it?
can you believe?
Is it? Is it Vin Diesel though?
It's not
No.
Vin Diesel, no.
What's the point?
I know, you'd have thought they would have gone back for that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Uh,
What else do you play on that console? What do you have, by the way? A PS3 or a
I
360?
had a 360.
Nice.
I am going to talk about another game that I used to play, very similar to Wheelman, called Saboteur.
Oh yeah, I know Saboteur. Yeah.
Did you play it?
No, that's another game that I haven't played, but I definitely am aware of it.
I've.
Um,
It is like it's an open world game, but you're a revolutionist in Paris during World War II.
nice. I'm looking at
Um,
screenshots of it now.
it was a really fun game from what I remember. Let's see what the reviews are. It's funny now that you're saying this, and I'm just like, was this a good game?
No, because it's interesting. Because when you're a kid, like you said, yeah, it got decent reviews. When
Yeah,
you're a
4.7.
kid, you um, you do play anything and you enjoy it. It's not like you don't
You're
know.
you're grateful for it, aren't you?
When you're a kid, it's difficult to know the difference between a game being hard and a game being broken and buggy. It's kind of like you kind of assume that that's, oh, you just need to get better, even though
Yeah.
actually it's just really horrible and buggy.
Yeah, you thought you were a bad player if you
Yeah,
couldn't do it, when it could just be that the game is not a good game to play. Like we were
exactly.
talking about Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider the other day, and I was like, I played that a little while ago, and I forgot how awful the controls were on it.
It's
Like
just
just to control the cat, like your avatar in that game, is horrendous.
having no analog stick on the PlayStation 1 is just nightmare inducing. Like how you can't control anything without dual analog sticks. Oh, do you
Yeah,
remember with Tomb Raider, you'd have to like go up to the like to make the jumps, you had to like it had to be like
edge.
pixel perfect.
Yeah,
Otherwise you're not gonna make it. Like, oh, it's so dumb.
yeah. I just remember doing like I don't think I've done much else apart from going around the obstacle course in the back garden in that game and just seeing like your butler walking around.
I've talked to a few people about Tomb Raider and they all say the same thing. It's always just going back around the mansion, just titting about.
Yeah, with that creepy butler. You
Yep.
know he was up to no good walking rounds.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Other games on I played on the Wii. I used to play Guitar Hero 3, but when I
Oh,
got Xbox 360, there was a game called Rocksmith. I've just got a list written down. So
Rocksmith is
Rocksmith.
fantastic.
Have you played it?
I've got it, yeah.
Yeah, I've played that, and I hurt. I broke my leg. When we went away.
Yeah.
Um, and when I got back from camping, um, I just played that, and it actually improved where how my hand felt on a guitar neck.
I think for a lot of people, definitely for me. I mean, I need to get. I stopped playing with it because the game kind of broke. Um, but I need to give it another go because if that is how I will learn guitar. Like,
Yeah,
turn it into a game, and I will learn it.
yeah, yeah, and it's just that next step from Guitar Hero because a lot of people get into playing guitar because they play Guitar Hero as a kid. But I think this game is you play Guitar Hero, you're like, yes, I want to play guitar, but how am I going to learn? Oh, I'm going to play this other game where I can actually not just have 5 buttons, I've got a full range of a guitar.
Exactly, because it's like, I mean, obviously, completely different playing the actual guitar to Guitar Hero. Like, it's not even remotely the same. So, like, Rocksmith is just so good, and the fact that you can do stuff like slow it down to like 25% if you need to, just kind of take it slow.
Simplify it. Like
Yep,
they'll
yep.
only give you like the main notes or like every other note to play until you feel comfortable, and
It's
they'll add more and more
amazing.
and more.
Yeah, I need to get back into that. I really need to get back into that. Actually,
Yeah,
that's a really good game. But yeah, like I said, it broke. Like the game kind of just wouldn't stop crashing eventually. I don't know why,
yeah,
which is a damn shame.
yeah. Um,
Well, if you haven't, might probably have time for possibly one more, and then I want to hear your top five. I want to discuss
yeah.
that.
I've not mentioned some games because I want to talk about them
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about them in my top five. So I've got some more Xbox games, but the last game is a game that you would play on your lunch break while you're at school, and it's Line Rider.
Line Rider. Oh, Line Rider's great.
It is great. And did you go onto the pages of made tracks that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
around, and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do," like you would do the track on a bike, and you'd be like, "I'm gonna do it on a scooter now."
So fun, so fun.
And I don't know how some people made those tracks.
Some of them are incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, you would flip and then ride, like your wheels would hook perfectly upside down, and you would go around something.
There's others where
But
it's like musical as well. It's incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like some people were just they had way too much time to be
I
making
know.
tracks like that.
Imagine being that skilled and then putting all that skill into Line Rider. Like you could be making actual music or something, but instead you're just titting around on some free game.
Yeah, but that was like a game. You would go to like a computer room in secondary school on your lunch
Yep.
break, and there was a lot of stuff blocked, but you would be able to get onto that game.
Yep.
And play it, and it was so good. Oh.
Right. So this next segment of the podcast is when you work your way through your top 5 games of all time. Since you were a little baby to now, all games are up for grabs. I want you to go from your 5th. So start with your 5th, and then work your way up to your very, very top game of all time, please.
Okay.
So
You'll be
me.
happy to know that I'm not like most of you guess, and I've got 6, not 5.
I have. Okay, thank you.
I've got 5.
Excellent.
I followed the rules.
Yeah, I've had there is a tier 6 specifically for honourable mentions, but
call it the Wasteland because it's not good enough for top 5. So it
I
should
have
be on
named
there.
the tiers, but I'll get to that at the end. Anyway.
Okay. So for number 5, we got Lego Star Wars.
That's a shout.
The complete saga, specifically.
So that's...
When I say complete saga, this is before the newest one, so it's from episode 1 to 6.
What platform was that on? Did you play
that? So I had the first one. So when it was episode 4 to 6, I had that on PlayStation 2, I think. But then the complete saga I got on the Wii. And I spent a lot of time playing that game as a kid.
You know, my memory might be failing me, but I feel like you're the first person to bring up a Lego game. And Lego games were a huge part of my childhood. They were so fun.
And they're still really good. They're still churning out Lego games. And they're still really good.
Well, I remember just so many unlockable characters. So I played it wasn't the complete saga. It was, I think it was the original trilogy game, and I remember unlocking like a Lego world where you could just go around. It was like full of just generic Lego bricks and stuff. And
they had this on the complete saga, and it was like a world, and you would go around breaking stuff apart, collecting coins, building little contraptions around it and stuff. They had like different creatures to ride around on. It was a game, and it was a game. But it's just a huge game for me to play when I was younger. It's so good.
What's your next one?
I think this could be a first, but it's a mobile game.
That definitely is a first on this list.
And it's
better be good.
It's nothing anyone that you've spoken to has probably played before.
We at Openly Beta have a very firm stance against mobile games, so this better make me smile. Otherwise, you're off.
BMX 2.
That sounds fun. What's it called?
Pump BMX 2.
Okay. I think I know the one. I seem to remember that was a thing that I played on someone's iPad once.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on the toilet playing this game.
Oh, God. Oh, I'm looking at this game now. Okay.
It was just, you would go around, because you could complete a level, but you had to do like 3 different objectives to get all the stars for that level. And yeah, it was just really good fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I might actually download this again to play, like just complete it again. I think I've done it like 2 or 3 times now.
Sure. I'll take that. I mean, it looks like a upper tier mobile game. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had there's 3 of them. I had the first one, but then I remember getting this one, and they just added some extra bits to it to improve it. So the first one was like you can tell it's like 3D, but it's still very like side on view to the game. So the first one and second one are like that, and I liked that. But the second one added some extra controls that made it better. But then number 3 kind of tried to make it look a bit too much 3D. And I just think that they perfected it in number 2.
There's a Pumped BMX Plus on the PlayStation 4 now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, weirdly enough.
but yeah, this I'm gonna probably download this again because it's like a time wasting game. It's
Yeah,
not too mentally taxing.
I can see
Just
that.
but but I remember because you hold down a pump button to get like speed as you're going down ramps, and I would be playing it and I'd be doing this as I'm pressing like the pump button. I'd be like leaning into it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's my number 4.
Okie dokie.
And it's the first for openly beta, Hitbox.
That is probably the first for opening beta entirely. Talking about a mobile game like that, disgusting. Moving on quickly.
With
Move on
such
quickly.
passion. My next one is Dirt 2.
Dirt 2, good shout.
Dirt
Cool.
2. It's the first rally game I really got into, and it's the first game I found out about rallycross. And rallycross in a video game
Yeah.
it combines rallying with track racing.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite section on that game and Dirt 3. And I've recently, since I brought my PC, got Dirt 4, and they have put so little effort into their rallycross, and it's upset me. So that's why I haven't picked Dirt 4 for this, but Dirt 2 is such a good game just for the rallycross. I mean, the tracks are nice. They're like after you play it, and for the first couple of races, you're just getting hold of the mechanics of the game. But then after a while, you can really feel like how to handle the tracks.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, Dirt 5 has just come out this week. Yeah, I think it was either this week or last week.
Has it been like a launch game or something?
Yeah, it was a launch game for the new consoles, and apparently Dirt 4 is better anyway. But yeah, that came out recently.
Well, I hope they've improved their rallycross for my sake, just for me.
I think it was Dirt. Yeah, yeah. I heard. Let's look. Yeah, they took out Rally entirely.
Oh, in Dirt 5?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
How can you call it a rally game?
I don't think they call it a rally game. So yeah, that's that.
They've completely abandoned it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dirt 2. I don't know whether it's because it was the first one that I really played, or whether it's actually really good. But it's my number 3.
Cool.
And my number 2 is Dying Light.
Dying Light as well. I've never played Dying Light.
If you get
it looks sick.
we can play through it together if you want.
Nice. That's
because
cool.
you can do co-op online like campaign.
Yeah,
and they've just announced Dying Light 2.
Well, they announced it about 4 years ago, and it still isn't out.
Oh, okay.
It's like properly taking forever.
I found it. No, because they had Dying Light, and then let me just open up.
No, I'm only saying that because it's like it was meant to come out years ago, and then it's just like constantly being delayed. It's really bad.
Because they had Dying Light, and then they had like the add-on. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a new map, the following. So it was like a new map, and like a new story. And both those games, you can buy it as a bundle, but it's a really good story. The controls are, once you get a hang of them and you level your character up enough, it feels really fluid. Like the parkour on it's really fluid.
Yeah.
And I used to play Mirror's Edge a lot when I was younger, and it sort of just combines my love for that with zombies. So
It looks
and weapon
so
making.
cool. It's like I love the parkour and stuff. It's just so awesome.
Did you play Mirror's Edge?
I played it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, definitely a cool concept.
yeah. Well,
For
this is
sure.
just zombies as well.
Yeah. So yeah. I've got a good game suggestion for you actually.
Hit me with it.
Check out Ghost Runner.
Okay, I'll check that
Um,
out.
Ghost Runner is basically it's so awesome. It's just basically the entire game is parkour in a cyberpunk world.
Ooh.
It's you can manipulate time. You have a sword.
Oh,
It's really sick.
I've seen the cover art. I'll check that out.
Yes, it'll probably go on sale at some point.
We
You
got
know,
Black Friday this weekend, so
yeah, it only came out last month, but they'll probably have it on sale.
okay.
So
But
I
yeah,
just want to
Dying Light.
correct myself because I was a little bit extreme. Dying Light 2 was not announced 5 years ago. It was announced 2 years ago. I was very wrong with that. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I realized when I was thinking about these games that I really get into gaming when I hurt myself because I broke my leg when we went camping and I got into Rocksmith. And then 8 months later, I broke my other ankle, didn't I? And I really got into Dying
that
Light.
is terrible. That is
And I
so
really got into
funny.
Dying Light, and it was like it was tough picking between this and number one. But then I think about how much time I've spent playing number one.
I have to
So there's
say,
like no
I'm really
chance.
glad you said Dying Light. Actually, that's a really solid pick because I've never played it, but it looks really cool, and I feel like it didn't get the attention it deserved when it came out.
No, I don't. It's an underrated game. It is.
Definitely.
I tried to get people to play it, and they get it, and at the beginning your character's really sluggish and you're trying to just get places and you run out of breath, you drop to the floor and you just have to stop for a bit because your character doesn't know parkour at the beginning. It's dropped into a situation and they've got to learn parkour so that they can survive in this infected country.
Yeah, it's so
and
cool.
and you build up your character's stats and the game becomes so fluid and the weapons that you can make become very creative in it.
Hmm.
And if you just learn the rules of the world that it's set in, it's a very fun and fluid game to play. And if you
Cool.
do want to play it, I will definitely download it and play through it with you.
Nice. I'll let you know. I've got. It won't be anytime soon because let me
No.
tell you, Cyberpunk is going to be life consuming, and that comes out in about 10 days. I'm so excited.
And you're playing that new Link one at the moment, aren't you?
I am. Uh, Age of Calamity.
How are you getting
Uh,
on with that?
yeah, it's kind of a sort of game which I play a little bit, kind of an hour every so often. Just it's not a sort of game that I want to play like you know
Yeah,
for a long period of time.
want to savor it.
Not that I want to savor it. It's
Oh,
more just I prefer to play it in like bite-sized chunks. It's that sort of game. Don't know.
okay.
Tell me your number one, Kieran.
Or number one is Skate 3.
Oh, nice pick.
And
Cool. Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much time I've spent playing that game. And do you want to know what injury happened to me to get me to play this?
What's that?
How old was I? I think I was year 8. So how old would I have been? Like 13?
Yeah.
I fell off my bike and badly bruised and swollen my ankle. They thought I'd fractured it,
Oh
but it was just like
wow.
swelled out, went completely black, and I couldn't even put a shoe on it because it was that swollen. And I got Skate 3 to play while I was stuck at home. and that
Skate
was
3 is a good game.
that's 11 years ago. I've had
Wow.
that game. So I'm 24 now. Yeah, I got that when I was 13. Yeah, I've spent
Wow.
because you know I was like a skater when I was younger. I
Yes.
skateboarded all the time. So I would go to school, I'd come home in the winter, me and
That's
my
so
mate
cool.
would hop on Skate 3 and play it all night, go to like sleep, go to school the next day, play Skate 3 in the evening,
The thing is
do
with
that.
Skate, it kind of attracted like everyone. Everyone plays
Yeah,
Skate 3. Like it was even if you didn't really know anything about
yeah.
skateboarding, it was really fun.
Because you'd play the Tony Hawk's games, but they have nothing on skate game, like on the skate games.
Hmm.
Because Tony Hawk's, you had the jump, and then you'd press like a button to do a certain trick. But with this game, you use the analog stick to flip the board,
Hmm.
and the way they designed the for the analog stick to move to do that trick just replicated the trick so well.
Yeah.
It made so much sense. As a skateboarder, it made so much sense to to do an ollie. You'd bring the analog stick back and then forwards
Hmm.
because you'd pop down on your tail and slide your foot forward to do it. To do a kickflip, you'd pull it back, but then push it off to the side.
Yeah.
And to do a shove it, you'd like swipe it round. And then like they had tricks where you would combine them, but so you'd have to sort of like do like move it round, but then flick it to do like a varial kickflip or something. Just the way they designed that
Depth.
game is
Lots of depth to it.
genius.
Yeah.
Like it's so simple, but makes so much sense.
Well, there we have it.
Yeah, like, yeah, and
Skate
they need to bring
3.
out Skate 4. They need to bring out Skate 4. It's been too long.
Who makes Skate? Who?
EA, but they closed.
Oh,
So
why
they
don't?
closed. So a little while ago, a few years ago, they closed down the Skate 3 server because you could play online.
Yeah.
And then while ago, they turned it back on for a while. I don't know if it's still up now, but I'm pretty sure I heard Jack mention on your show about that EA have announced Skate 4.
Hang on. Yeah, Skate 4 was announced. It must have been delayed. It must have been delayed. I forgot about that actually.
Because people have been begging for this game for years.
Yeah, it's been confirmed. There's no release date, but it's confirmed for next gen consoles. So
Yes.
that's exciting.
Yeah, because honestly, Skate 3 is just
I'm
an
surprised that it took them so long to make it. It must have not made as much money as they wanted or something.
I don't know how it didn't, because I can guarantee you every person that skateboards has Skate 3, plus the people who don't skateboard but like skateboarding games have it.
It says here it's going to feel like a skate game. It's not going to be something different. So there we go. They said it'll
That's
be
good.
authentically skate.
That's good, because I got Skate 3 and then I completed it, and after a while I got a little bit tired of some of the maps. So I brought Skate 2, and the controls like are still the same, but it felt stiffer, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
It felt more janky, whereas Skate 3 was very smooth, very very smooth is the best way to say it. Like there are some huge glitches in it still. Like if you'd get thrown across a park all the time if you'd done something like, so it was weird. But when it was working properly, it felt incredibly smooth.
Here's a funny little fact. The Skate 3 servers were turned back on by accident.
So they weren't hinting to anything.
No. That's so funny. That was 2018 apparently. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's hilarious. Well, I'm just gonna
Focus your camera.
So, that is your list, and I am now going to very, very quickly. I'm sorry, it has to be done. I will just throw this out. There was plans being made for an openly beta website,
Oh,
and this list will go on the website. And I think it might be worth, once it's on the website, I'll stop reading it out at the end of the podcast, because it's getting to the point now where it's becoming a bit of a chore to have to read through the whole thing. However, I am going to read it out for this episode. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, in tier 6, trash, we have Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Evolve.
Okay.
In tier
Who
5,
are the two scumbags that brought in 6 into their list? I know Niall was one of them. I'm calling Niall out on that.
and Anthony. So now we have tier 5, Grunt. We have Undertale, Street Fighter 4, Minecraft, PUBG, Sonic Boom, Warhammer Dawn of War, Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. In tier 4, which is called Elite, we have Civilization 5, Towerfall, Spyro the Dragon, Lost Planet 2, Rollercoaster World PS2, Resident Evil 7, Battlefield 3, Pumped BMX 2.
Mobile. You need to have mobile
all
in
right,
brackets at the end of that.
Did you have it on Android or iOS?
Android.
That's the word I'll put at the end. And now we've got tier 3, Mini Boss, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Halo Reach, Skyrim, Battlefield 3, Sims 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, Skyrim, and Dirt 2. Lots of sequels in that. Then we've got tier 2, Boss, Persona 4, Breath of the Wild. So that is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Little Big Planet 2, Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Metro Exodus, Lost Planet 2, and Dying Light. And finally, the best games of all time, according to the Openly Beta Hitbox podcast, we have tier 1, Final Boss, Pokemon, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Mass Effect 2, The Last of Us, Metro 2033, Spider Dragon Ripto's Rage, Total Warhammer 2, and Skate 3. There you have it. That's our list.
So what are you going to do when eventually someone lists the same name, like same game twice?
So the way it works is that if you're a tier 5 game, you get 1 point.
All right.
And it goes up. So a tier 1 game will have 5 points. So if there's a repeat, it then gets moved up into the tier. And as soon as there's a game with 6 points, it will be in its own tier.
Oh, okay. You're making a lot of work for yourself.
No, this is at some point when we're on episode 100. This will be such a beautiful list of games. It'll be the most eclectic. Like you go online and you type in like best games of all time, and it's just like all the games you've ever seen. You've seen them all before. But this is a list of people's, like real people's actual favorite games. And you know, you're never going to have a top list of all time games with Pumped BMX 2 on. There is no list in the world in which the words Pumped BMX 2 in that order appear on it.
Not even on best mobile games, probably.
I don't even know. I know nothing about mobile games. But
I know that they need to stop advertising raid videos on my YouTube videos.
Oh, I hate mobile game ads so much. Anyway,
so awful. That'd be a different podcast.
That is a whole discussion. We can have a discussion on mobile games another time. But this is Hitbox, and Hitbox is good vibes only. And that is also the end of Hitbox episode 5, featuring Kieran. It was very lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure we'll see you again in another video for some ghost busting action or something similar.
Maybe Dying Light now.
Maybe Dying Light. Maybe freaking. I don't know. I would like to play Star Wars. I'd like to say Lego Star Wars if that was online. That'd be sick.
That would be very good.
Until the next episode, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.